Alright friends, so this is time that we get into the actual software. So to open the software, so what you have to exactly do is just go on to search for Multisim over here and just click on that, and this window will pop up. So this is the Multisim software, how it looks like. So I will give you an overview that what exactly this software has and what the tools and what are the options among these that we will be using. So basically, you know that the PCB is made of a lot of components, and if you want to place some components from here, you can place it. Here's the option, place component. So let's say you have to, from here there's a group of components, the sources, diodes, transistor, analog, and lots, basically the connectors also. So you can grab the components from here and place it onto your schematic. So this is the Multisim software where we design the schematic as what is the schematic I have discussed in the first video, the tutorial number 1. So let's say let's go into the basics. So I have to put some resistor into my schematic, which value is 1k. So place it OK, and you can just place it over here. And as you can see that my component has been placed, and let's say that I have to place another component, then I can, let's say I have to place a capacitor of 1 microfarad. That's okay. So I can just do OK, and you will see that I have placed another component, which is a capacitor. Now you might be wondering why the resistor is in a blue shade and capacitor is in the black shade. So I will tell you what exactly is the reason. So as you can see in this resistor, okay, I will show you that exactly. If you double click on any of the component, its properties will pop up. So as you can see over here in the value, that the footprint of this component has been assigned to it. So what exactly is the footprint? So I will tell you what exactly is the footprint. So I will show you an example. So this is the one data sheet of one component. Let's say this is a 555 timer, and this is the IC, integrated circuit, and which has a different packages, or you can also call it as a footprint. So let's say this is the one part, LM555, and it has a different packages, SOIC8, PDIP8, PSSOP8. So this might be seeming a little bit of confusing right now. So putting it in a very simple way, this is the only one component, LM555, but it has a different packages. So I will show you how exactly do they look. So let's say, just remember these three names, SOIC, PDIP, and PSSOP. So this is the same component, but its package something looks like this. The IC of LM555, whose package is SOIC8, looks like this. Now this is a very common package or a footprint. So the distance from this point to this point is something, and from this point to this point is something, and from this pin's length and width is a certain value, and that makes one footprint. So it's named as SOIC8. So this is how this footprint look like, the component look like. And let's say the PDIP8, how does it look like? So you will see there is a 8 pin here also, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and in PDIP8 there is also 8 pins, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 on that side, so it's 8 pins as well. So you will see that the IC is same, its functionality is completely same, but how do they look like, their packages or footprint is completely different. And I will show you how the VSSOP8 looks like. So this is how the VSSOP looks like. VSSOP8 looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and from other side there is 8 pins. So from distance from here to here is different, here to here is different, the length and width of this particular pin is different, the distance between these particular pins is completely different than what it was over here. So these are the different packages, and they comes in different shapes and sizes, but the functionality is completely same. So I hope you got the idea what exactly is the footprint. So you will see that this is the footprint that I have assigned to this resistor over here, which I can edit as well from the database. There are lots of footprints I can assign to. Let's say that I have to use this one. You will see that how its shape and size is changing. So this is another footprint, this is another, this is another. Just give me a sec, yeah. So I believe you can see that how it's changing. So I can choose anything according to my plan. So let's say it was something different before. I am choosing this. I'm selecting okay. So I have selected one footprint. And now let's check this one's property. I'm double clicking on it, and this is the footprint. Now you can see over here that footprint is not assigned to this component, which is the capacitor. So that's why it is showing the black colored shade on this component. So let's go into edit footprints, select from database, and let's say that I have to select 402 package, which looks something like this. And now I will select this one. Okay. Now you will see that it has turned into a green shade. So now you know those. Now I'll show you exactly now how this footprint looks like. So now you will see this is how this footprint looks like. Okay, resistor footprint looks like this, and capacitor's footprint look like this. Why I'm showing you this right now is because I want you to understand that what is the difference between these two components and their footprints. So I want you to get into what exactly the difference between through-hole components and what I have to search, surface mount components. So what is a through-hole components is basically I give a look at these components. So this is a resistor basically, and you have to, if you have to place it on the PCB, there is a hole given inside the PCB, and you have to bend this wire, then you have to put it into these holes, and then you have to put a solder from the opposite side from which you have inserted the component. So you are inserted the components from upper side of the PCB, and then you are making the solder on the bottom part of it. So that's why we call it a through hole components, because you are putting this component through the hole of by making the hole into the PCB. And in the surface mount, so let's say this is one surface mount component. So what you have to do is you don't have to make any hole into PCB. You have to just make a copper traces onto, or a copper pin onto the surface of this PCB, and you will just get it solder on the same side of the PCB where you have placed the component. So I'm placing on the, let's say on the top side of the PCB, I'm placing this component, and I'm soldering it on the same side. So we call it as a surface mount. So this is a difference between through hole and the surface mount components. So now you can see over here that the footprint that I have given to the resistor is a through hole component. As you can see that there is a hole I have given inside this PCB. You can already see it, and here is another hole that you can see. So this is a through hole component, and what I have assigned to the capacitor is a surface mount. So you will see, give me a second, yeah. So I have to solder this capacitor on this part only. You will see no hole inside this pin. So I will be placing my capacitor on this part. The pin will be soldered here on the top of from the only side where I have placed the capacitor, and I will solder another part, another pin of the capacitor over here. So I'm calling it as a surface mount component. Alright. So this is what exactly it is. So I'm placing, let's say, some more component that I have to place some connectors. Okay, so let's say I have to connect some power connectors or a USB connectors. You can see a different connectors over here, rectangular, RX, headers, which is a very common connectors that I use. So let's say I'm placing HDR 1x3 or 1x2. So you can see that there is already one footprint given to this component, because it has a fixed component footprint which is called HDR 1x2. It isn't like there are multiple HDR footprints, unlike this component LM35, which has a different packages. But this one has only one. So let's go, and you will see that it will automatically be blue. It will be a blue. Oh, sorry. It is basically a different shade, green, but it's not a black basically. And yeah, so that's how you place the components, the different components you place onto in the schematic. And how to connect basically these components is, let's say I have to connect this pin to this. Then what I have to do is just click on this pin and get over here, and again getting away, you will see a red dot. I hope you all can see that, and just click again, it will make the connection. So now it doesn't matter if you move over here or here, it doesn't matter, it will always be connected. So let's say if I have to connect it here to here, I will just click on this point and drag it to here. So that's how you connect the circuit. I hope that you have got the lesson, that exactly how to place the components and how you can make the connections. So we'll see you in the next tutorial, and please subscribe to our channel, Free Knowledge. Thank you very much.